Mortality Devoid of Morality. Prologue. The Eradication of 2118 by Addie Michelle Rutler. I charge you in the presence of God and of Christ Jesus, who is to judge the living and the dead, and by his appearing and his kingdom. Preach the word, be urgent in season and out of season. Convince, rebuke, and exhort, be unfailing in patience and in teaching. For the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears they will accumulate for themselves teachers to suit their own likings, and will turn away from listening to the truth and wander into myths. As for you, always be steady, endure suffering, do the work of the evangelist, fulfill your ministry. 2 Timothy chapter 4 verses 1 through 5. Religion left an indelible mark on the trajectory of human history, being intertwined in all social, cultural, and personal lives across the globe. This rich assortment of beliefs, practices, and traditions shaped a diverse array of moral values and ethical principles that guided individuals and communities as they navigated the trials and tribulations of existence. Throughout history, religion has served as both a sanctuary and a wellspring of inspiration, bestowing upon countless individuals a profound sense of purpose, identity, and belonging. Its teachings and rituals provided solace in moments of crisis and acted as a moral compass to help steer people through life's many challenges, whether through communal prayers, festive celebrations, or acts of service. The bonds formed in these gatherings fostered a sense of togetherness, encouraging acts of kindness and compassion. Followers were driven to support one another, embodying the belief that their collective well-being was intricately linked to individual responsibility. This same fervor that fueled devotion also sparked conflict. Religion historically acted as a catalyst for division, igniting disputes that fractured communities and nations. Clashes over differing beliefs, interpretations of sacred texts, and cultural practices led to wars, persecutions, and unthinkable violence, inflicting deep scars on societies and causing immense suffering. The sacrifices made by devoted individuals, many recognized as martyrs, underscored the profound dedication that faith inspired. The Spartans stand out as one of history's most formidable warrior societies in ancient Greece. They were renowned not just for their unparalleled military prowess but also for a unique social structure defined by discipline, resilience, faith in their gods, and martial excellence. Spartans were also marked by fierce independence and a powerful sense of national identity, traits that became evident during their epic struggle against Persian domination. Unwilling to accept Xerxes as a god or as their new sovereign, they fought back. One of the most legendary episodes in this saga of resistance unfolded during the iconic Battle of Thermopylae, where Leonidas with his 300 Spartans confronted a Persian force thought to be in the hundreds of thousands. Against overwhelming odds, these warriors exemplified the true essence of Spartan ideals: honor, duty, and sacrifice. The selfless drive of these men ignited a sense of unity among the fragmented Greek city-states, compelling them to join forces against the looming Persian threat. This collective resistance culminated in monumental victories at the naval battle of Salamis and the land battle of Plataea, safeguarding Greek cultural heritage and philosophical principles for the future. In stark contrast, the Romans were driven by an insatiable desire for territorial expansion across the Mediterranean, propelled by ambitions of conquest, economic gain, and cultural supremacy. As they carved their empire, they actively spread the influence of Hellenistic culture, assimilating and enhancing various elements of Greek philosophy, art, and governance while striving to unify the diverse peoples they encountered. The Romans made their mark through remarkable engineering feats, and the Colosseum was their showcase for their architectural brilliance. However, the relentless nature of Roman expansion often came at the expense of local customs and cherished traditions. As they conquered new territories, they imposed their cultural and religious beliefs, frequently leading to the erosion of distinct local identities and practices. While the Roman vision of a unified empire fostered advancements and connections, it sometimes created an environment in which rich regional expressions faded into obscurity. Among the most significant legacies of the Romans is their involvement in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ and the subsequent persecution of his followers, events that irrevocably altered the course of history and played a crucial role in the rise of Christianity as a major world religion. This transformative period marked a pivotal moment in the cultural and religious landscape of the empire and beyond. The Crusades represent a remarkable and tumultuous era in human history. These fierce religious wars, fervently backed by the Latin Church during a time of profound spiritual passion, reveal the intense emotional battles and unwavering convictions tied to faith and identity. The overarching goal of the Crusades was to reclaim the Holy Land, particularly Jerusalem, from Muslim rule, igniting brutal and often violent confrontations between two of the world's major religions, Christianity and Islam. Throughout this transformative period, powerful military orders emerged, and they were celebrated for their combat prowess and dedication to safeguarding pilgrims in the Holy Land. These knightly figures became legendary, influencing not only military strategies but also the political and social landscapes of their times. The Crusades also sparked vibrant cultural exchanges between East and West, ushering in a wave of new ideas, philosophical insights, groundbreaking technologies, and exotic goods that revitalized European society for years to come. Nonetheless, during these exchanges, a painful truth emerged. The conflicts intensified animosities and forged enduring divides among faith communities, leaving scars that can still be felt in the world for centuries. Then there was the seismic shift that erupted within Christianity that would echo through the ages, transforming European society in unimaginable ways. This moment marked the dawn of the Reformation, a movement ignited by Martin Luther's audacious challenge to a century-old institution. As he questioned the very foundation of the Catholic Church's authority and teachings, the Catholic Church, robust and steeped in tradition, reacted swiftly, defending its sacred role as the divinely appointed interpreter of Scripture. Church leaders fervently emphasized the importance of historical doctrines, sacred traditions, and the sacraments, asserting that fidelity to these principles was essential, warning against deviations from the established faith, echoing the cautionary tales that Christ himself had shared. In stark contrast, the Protestant movement emerged as a passionate critique of Catholic practices and its hierarchical control. Protestants began to dismiss traditional rituals and teachings, labeling them as obstacles to personal faith, and championed the importance of each individual's direct engagement with Scripture. While they intended to cultivate a deeper, personal relationship with God, this approach inadvertently fragmented the Christian community, spawning a multitude of denominations, each with its own interpretation of faith. As tensions flared between Catholics and Protestants, both sides were compelled to reassess their beliefs. The Reformation ignited not just theological debates, but also set the stage for sweeping changes across Europe's social and political landscape. Though the Reformation heralded a wave of modernization, advancing education, governance, and individual rights, it also unleashed violent conflicts and civil strife that ravaged communities. The resulting turmoil sowed seeds of resentment and division among various Christian groups, leaving a lasting scar on religious relationships for generations to come. Ultimately, the Reformation reshaped the religious landscape of Europe, setting the stage for ongoing discussions about religious pluralism. While it encouraged the differences in people's beliefs, it also reaffirmed the Catholic Church's position as the guardian of traditions that provide structure and meaning to the lives of its followers. The changes that began in that pivotal time would resonate far beyond their existence, profoundly influencing both religious thought and the socio-political fabric of Europe for centuries. Years later, history would witness one of its darkest catastrophes, the Shoah. This term resonates deeply, evoking the unimaginable magnitude of the lives lost and the profound sorrow that echoes through generations. The story of the Shoah was not just a chapter in history. It was a profound and heart-wrenching narrative that demanded attention and understanding. It stood as a powerful reminder of the depths of human cruelty that could emerge when hatred and prejudice went unchecked. While many referred to this harrowing period as the Holocaust, it was essential to recognize that this commonly used term originally denoted a religious sacrifice, a label that could unfortunately overshadow the magnitude of the suffering and the horrific genocide that unfolded. Approximately 11 million human lives were brutally taken in some of the most twisted ways that could be thought of, wiping out a rich cultural heritage and centuries of history. The shocking events of the Shoah compelled society to confront a chilling truth: humanity was capable of unfathomable evil. This period served as a grim example of how unchecked hatred could spiral into systematic violence. It underscored the urgent need for a culture built on compassion, understanding, and acceptance, qualities essential to combating the fear and ignorance that fueled division and hatred. In the 20th century, religion continued to shape cultural norms and values, influencing everything from legal frameworks to social movements. For many, faith remained a wellspring of peace, strength, and purpose, offering guidance in an increasingly complex world. However, dialogue surrounding religious tolerance, secularism, and the evolving role of spirituality in public and political spheres persisted. These discussions were crucial as they illuminated the intricate dynamics within diverse societies, where understanding the connection between religion, community, and personal belief became key to tackling the global challenges faced during those times. Promoting respect and coexistence was vital, especially in an age characterized by unprecedented connectivity contrasted with profound divisions. In the early 2000s, the quest for global peace faced a tumultuous storm, with the escalating conflict between Russia and Ukraine emerging as a critical flashpoint. A major turning point arrived in 2014 when Russia, bolstered by the unwavering support of the Russian Orthodox Church and driven by deep-rooted historical claims, audaciously annexed Crimea. This bold move not only ignited tensions across Eastern Europe but also sent shockwaves around the world, leading to a brutal conflict marked by tragic loss of life, mass displacement, and the destruction of communities and infrastructure. In response to these aggressive actions, a coalition of Western nations sprang into action, launching a comprehensive package of economic sanctions aimed at crippling essential sectors of the Russian economy. As a result, Russia found itself increasingly isolated, and international relations shifted dramatically, marking the onset of a new era defined by adversarial engagement. The ongoing conflict, coupled with the sanctions, catalyzed significant changes in Europe's energy landscape and security protocols. The evolving situation laid bare the intricate connections between geopolitical events and global economic stability, exposing vulnerabilities that had long been underestimated. The trouble in Ukraine not only redefined regional alliances but also sparked critical questions about the effectiveness of existing international frameworks for conflict resolution, urging a re-examination of how countries can collaborate in the pursuit of lasting peace and security. The war in the Gaza Strip escalated into a profound humanitarian crisis, created by so many issues of historical, political, and cultural values. This region had been at the heart of intense territorial disputes, primarily between Israelis and Palestinians. The resulting cycle of violence sparked widespread unrest and unthinkable suffering. These conflicts shattered lives, leaving many vulnerable and in dire need of shelter, food, and medical care. The rising death toll served as a grim reminder of the urgent necessity for some kind of peace to ease the pain of those caught in the conflict's relentless crossfire. At the core of this enduring struggle lay deeply contentious issues: the desire of Palestine to wipe Israelis from the planet, profound religious and cultural divides, contested land rights, and a long history of grievances that festered and grew over decades. Efforts to broker peace were often thwarted by entrenched animosities, political divisions, and the conflicting narratives that shaped each side's understanding of past injustices and future hopes. The situation in Gaza reached a critical point, demanding an in-depth dialogue focused on the pressing humanitarian crises and the intricate historical, political, and religious issues that had created this conflict. In such a complex environment, the hope for peace lies in mankind's ability to recognize their shared humanity and work together toward a brighter future. Still, as time unfolded, it became clear that true peace might have remained elusive without the engagement of an external party, one that could shield the innocent and address the threats posed by those intent on disrupting the harmony so fervently sought in these sacred lands. The world watched, hopeful that a collaborative effort could pave the way for lasting tranquility. These two crises illuminated the tangled and often perplexing fabric of contemporary diplomacy. Global powers found themselves navigating the complexities of allegiances, aligning with various factions, and influencing an ever-evolving geopolitical landscape. The stakes were high, regional stability hung in the balance, and the threats to global security loomed large. As nations grappled with these pressing issues, the imperative for dialogue, negotiation, and cooperation became ever more urgent. Only through persistent efforts to foster understanding and compromise could hope for lasting peace and stability in a world rife with conflict. In those years, America found itself navigating a tumultuous political landscape that ignited a powerful longing for unity. This collective desire stood in stark contrast to the deepening divisions fueled by sensational media narratives, leaving many feeling isolated and polarized. The relentless quest for headlines often amplified disconnection, creating a society grappling with discord in its daily life. Effective leadership during those trying times was marked by transparency and accountability. It thrived on nurturing open dialogues and creating pathways for collaborative problem-solving, which are cornerstones of a robust governance framework. Together, people embarked on a critical journey to reclaim a sense of unity that felt ever elusive. The vision was a future brimming with respect, harmony, and cooperation among the diverse communities that defined the nation. A momentous chapter in American history took shape in 2025 with the inauguration of a leader who placed the well-being of the people above the knotted interests of a complex governmental maze. Deeply aware of the systemic corruption that endangered democracy's very fabric, this leader felt an urgent moral duty to illuminate the darker corners of the political realm. His resolve was only fortified after surviving a dramatic assassination attempt, during which a bullet narrowly missed him, an incident he viewed as a brush with divine intervention. Rather than shrink back in fear, he emerged with a fiery spirit, rallying citizens from all walks of life to champion their rights and freedoms. His presidency became synonymous with transparency. He boldly unveiled the hidden agendas lurking in government corridors, exposing manipulative tactics designed to sow division and diminish the quality of life for everyday Americans. He meticulously assembled a diverse team of passionate advisors, committed to confronting pressing issues like illegal immigration and rising crime rates with decisive, timely action to reclaim security and order. But his vision extended far beyond mere policy changes. It was a heartfelt commitment to addressing the multi-layered challenges facing America's youth and advocating for women's rights. He turned a critical eye toward worrisome societal trends shaping the nation, bravely addressing hot-button issues such as the administration of sterilizing drugs to change the gender of children and the implications of men accessing women's spaces. He asserted that citizens could no longer accept misleading narratives from the media, instead embracing candid conversations about these contentious topics. At the core of this visionary agenda was a revival of essential values, integrity, faith, and principled leadership. By wholeheartedly dedicating himself to these ideals, the president inspired people across the nation and empowered communities to unite, fostering inclusivity that acknowledged both triumphs and trials. This cultural transformation heralded a renewed commitment to collective healing, offering Americans a chance to unite with a shared purpose. Together they could strive toward a brighter, harmonious future where old divisions yield to mutual understanding and collaboration, laying the groundwork for a resilient and thriving society. As he diligently mended the global rifts burdening the world at the time and tackled domestic hurdles, religion emerged as a beacon of community and connection. For many, faith provided solace, offering comfort through cherished rituals, communal worship, and time-honored traditions. These gatherings nurtured moral values, uplifted spirits, and instilled hope during life's most challenging moments. Through acts of charity, solidarity, and mutual support, communities created a resilient social bond, showcasing their strength and unity in times of adversity. With his unwavering commitment to keeping his word to the people among the lies and cruelty of the opposition, he fostered a climate of tolerance and understanding that had been absent for generations. Even after his presidency, the world continued on its path of healing, embracing acceptance of differences while recognizing the necessity of healthy boundaries. This journey paved the way for a more interconnected global community, where collaboration and respect flourished, and where individuals learned to thrive together. Years later, a stunning transformation emerged. All communities looked for ways to heal rifts between their cultures, and after a couple of decades, they became inspired to cast aside the historical barriers and conflicts that had long divided them. In a remarkable bid to cultivate peace, understanding, and mutual respect, a diverse coalition of influential leaders from various faith traditions embarked on an inspiring journey toward reconciliation. Their vision was nothing short of ambitious, seeking to transform the spiritual landscape by spotlighting the power of cooperation and dialogue among diverse religious communities. With this initiative, they aimed to unite an array of beliefs, celebrating the richness of their unique differences. Their vision was to close the gaps between cultures through acceptance, love, and a shared mission, cultivating a vibrant space where diverse perspectives could harmoniously coexist. This transformative endeavor ignited a spark within communities, encouraging meaningful conversations to explore common values and uncover pathways to unity amid the rich diversity of beliefs. Engaging in interfaith dialogues, collaborative projects, and dynamic joint faith educational workshops became essential tools for dismantling barriers and forging lasting relationships. Not all individuals within these faith communities embraced this change. However, in communities steeped in traditions like Judaism, Islam, and Catholicism, a wave of concerns emerged, challenging the status quo and sparking meaningful discussions. Many voices expressed apprehension about the proposed reforms, fueled by a desire to safeguard the established norms, rituals, and theological foundations that had shaped their religious identities for generations. For these individuals, these traditions were not just echoes of history. They were the heartbeats of their spiritual lives and communal connections. This resistance highlighted the complexities involved in the quest for unity. It served as a poignant reminder that, while fostering collaboration and understanding was a worthy pursuit, it required a delicate approach. Leaders and community members needed to navigate the intricate layers of belief and tradition thoughtfully, remaining mindful of the potential pitfalls that could undermine the harmony they aimed to achieve. The true challenge lay in honoring the individuality and diversity within faiths while simultaneously striving for a collective philosophy that appreciated and respected every perspective. They embarked on an inspiring journey to establish new churches, weaving together diverse religious traditions to create a garden of beliefs where everyone could find a sense of belonging. In these sacred spaces, what was thought to be a beautiful blend of personal spiritual truths came alive. In these heartfelt exchanges, individuals expressed profound respect for one another's beliefs, recognizing the divine spark that lit each spiritual journey. In this sanctuary of understanding, once discordant voices found harmony, creating a vibrant symphony of ideas and perspectives. The potential for unity and diversity rang out like a melodic chorus, showcasing humanity's strength drawn from its differences, propelled by an unwavering current of love, compassion, and empathy. At first glance, this unsettling shift seemed to herald a society on the brink of compassion and peace. However, forgetting the true foundations of their faith, people lost their way in the true meaning of the leading faiths in the world. The clashing perspectives sparked a wave of uncertainty, leaving many grappling with their beliefs and shaking the very foundation of their faith. Beneath the delicate exterior lurked the insidious seeds of oblivion, allowing malevolent forces to thrive and quietly erode the very elements of existence. In the shadows of what once appeared to be a flourishing spiritual landscape, many found themselves trapped at a crossroads, ensnared by negative influences that distorted their beliefs and sowed confusion as a new order began to emerge. By the year 2042, a chilling wave of non-believers surged forth, driven by a sinister ambition to erase all traces of faith and spiritual legacy. This movement sparked a brutal campaign against the very essence of religion, twisting convictions into tools of cruelty and shrouding society in a thick veil of cynicism. No belief system was spared from their disdain. Every idea that wasn't anchored in cold, hard facts became a target, leading to a relentless culture of scorn and derision. These fervent zealots, bolstered by their unyielding conviction, turned the failures of religion into lethal weapons, weaving a narrative that not only justified their merciless crusade but glorified it as a much-needed purge of humanity's misguided ideals. Within 5 years of starting their mission, they had grown strong enough to push forward with their initiative. On a night cloaked in mistiness, a sinister cabal unleashed their sinister machines, penetrating the sanctuary of homes and snatching away innocent children from every corner of the earth. These vulnerable souls, easily ensnared, were destined to become unwitting pawns in a chilling quest for a new world order. As dawn broke, families awoke to an overbearing silence, where the melodies of laughter once rang out, leaving nothing but an unbearable void where their children once thrived. Vibrant communities transformed into barren echoes, haunted by the mourning of those lost. A world once alive with joy now reverberated with the anguished cries of desperate parents, frantically searching for their missing children. The truth was a cold, hard realization. They had vanished without a trace, becoming a chilling testament to the malevolence festering in society. Anger and grief ignited a fire within many, leading them to lash out at the religious leaders who, while offering comfort, could provide no answers to quell their torment. What had once seemed like a dawn of hope now devolved back into an abyss of shadow. The landscape lay scattered with the remnants of greed, arrogance, and ceaseless strife, all stark reminders of the devastation wrought by this grim conflict. Facing the reality of what was threatening humanity, a war began between the faithful and the faithless. For those who opted out of the fight or embraced the changes with open hearts, the scene was nothing short of mesmerizing. They stood, breath held and bodies shaking, as a monumental struggle played out before their eyes. A clash not merely for the future of the children but for the very soul of humanity itself. The architects of this soulless reality reveled in the insanity they had unleashed, allowing malevolence to flourish unchecked while genuine purpose, compassion, and spirituality faded into obscurity. As forces of destruction, drug abuse, alcoholism, corruption, and brutality took root in the fabric of society. A new world order roamed the crumbling streets, leaving behind neglect and hopelessness. In this grim existence, simply holding on to belief became an act of rebellion, a dangerous gamble against a ruthless regime determined to snuff out the flicker of hope forever. The devastating wrath of the relentless non-believers swept across the globe, leaving chaos in its wake. Within the turmoil, a few resilient nations stood strong, their unwavering faith in God providing a shield against destruction. These places, steadfast in their beliefs, served as a beacon of hope in a world shaken to its core. In the next American election, a passionate coalition of communities clung fiercely to their faith. Even as many died the death of martyrs, the evil of it all threatening to engulf their world in a suffocating gloom. Guided by the youngest president the nation ever had, who inherited an unwavering dedication to Christianity and uniting the world from his father, these communities fought heroically, not just for their survival, but for the universal truth of the remaining faithful, proclaiming the existence of one true God. Like his father before him, the president envisioned a time when humanity could unite, transcending the deep-rooted divisions that had yet again fractured their society. He brought together former adversaries left around the world into steadfast allies, standing shoulder to shoulder against the encroaching corruption that threatened to unravel the very fabric of their existence. However, as tragedies struck with brutal precision, each loss starkly highlighting the contrast against a once thriving community, the once bright flame of faith began to flicker, shaken by the cold winds of grief. The unity painstakingly cultivated through shared struggles and collective hope began to splinter under the overwhelming weight of grief, presenting a heart-wrenching choice to cling fiercely to their beliefs or to yield to the primal instinct for survival amid anarchy. A tyrannical atmosphere, heavy with sorrow and uncertainty, enveloped them as they grappled with this agonizing dilemma, their hearts burdened by a debilitating sense of isolation and vulnerability. Some who had once passionately rallied found their connections beginning to fade. They falsely began to believe that the faith they embraced so firmly was hollow, echoing in silence throughout the unending storm of suffering that plagued the world. With every heart-wrenching loss, the indomitable spirit that had fueled their struggle blazed fiercely like a resilient beacon, defiantly pushing back against the relentless storm that threatened to drown them. The air was thick with mourning, but within that heavy grief simmered an undeniable strength, a fire that refused to be extinguished. As dark silhouettes loomed ominously, threatening to envelop them in hopelessness, some faltered beneath the crushing weight of sorrow. Even so, many others stood tall, their resolve unshakable, fiercely clinging to their dreams and aspirations. This determination surged within them, fierce and tenacious, as if it were their very lifeblood, propelling them forward with relentless vigor. The memories of sacrifices made by those who had come before wrapped their present struggles in a solemn reminder of the strength and courage that had forged their path. Each recollection felt like a sacred tribute, softly echoing tales of endurance and resilience that ignited an unquenchable fire deep within their hearts. Despite the relentless fatigue gnawing at their spirits, they refused to let heartbreak consume them. Each step they took, weighed down by the absence of cherished loved ones, and emerged as a powerful testament to their resilience. It filled them with a profound yearning for hope, shimmering like a distant star while glowing brightly enough to light their way. Their conviction held firm. Death was not an end but a courageous passage into the warm embrace of their Creator. A divine figure waiting to welcome them home with open arms and unconditional love. At the heart of this overwhelming upheaval stood the President, a beacon of unwavering conviction. He epitomized the spirit of those he led, reflecting their struggles and hopes in every decision he made. Standing in the face of impending tragedy, he and his entire family remained steadfast, a barricade against the tide of tyranny threatening to sweep them away, holding tightly to his core beliefs. The President refused to bend under immense pressure or abandon the people's cherished right to choose their faith. His resolute stance became a shining symbol of bravery. Among swirling madness, inspiring countless others to stand firm, even as the world around them crumbled into uncertainty. Each act of solidarity, no matter how small, resonated deeply within their hearts. Powerful rallying cry of courage, reminding them that every flicker of hope had the potential to conquer unimaginable sacrifice, propelling them toward a quest for a brighter tomorrow. Humanity's battle morphed into a bittersweet symphony, a poignant mix of heartache and longing. Even so, they dared to cling to the belief that even in the shadow of death, in those quiet corners where lost hope lingered, their unyielding fight for love, truth and faith would someday spark the flames of a new dawn. In their deaths, they knew their sacrifices would serve as kindling to light a path forward, one destined to restore the lost values of the world and forge a brighter future for generations yet to come. The war ended with the public torture and decapitation of the President after he was forced to watch the mutilation and execution of his entire family. The enemy's final act of cruelty to remove any hope left in the world. The conquerors reveled in victories gained through the suffering of the innocent, the architects of a new world order watching on with chilling satisfaction. They observed the brutality steadily extinguish the light, savoring the chaos unleashed upon families torn apart and communities reduced to ashes. This grim tableau bore witness to their relentless mission to erase faith from the very fabric of society. Within their opulent sanctuaries, constructed on the ruins of lost traditions and values, they thrived on the destruction of what remained of the population who chose to side with them, leaving only echoes of a bygone existence in their wake. In the fading light of a world once brimming with hope, a sinister menace crept forth. An insidious sterilization program cloaked in the guise of benevolent vaccinations. This dark initiative targeted all those who gave into this new existence, the only remnants of human history and the faiths within their minds, a threat needing to be terminated. With each passing day, the architects of this malevolence silently set out to not just extinguish lives, but to unravel the very fabric of a worldview that had long connected humanity. By the time the chilling truth dawned on the populace, it was too late. Only those in power, along with missing children ensnared within hidden facilities, raised only to know and believe what they were told, remained as bearers of the future. As the ability to bear children faded away, despondency pierced the hearts of those who had tirelessly dedicated themselves to shaping a brighter future. Rather than witnessing the blossoming of their dreams, they watched helplessly as their hopes shattered around them. The emptiness that ensued was almost tangible. The lack of love, connection, and unity served as a chilling reminder of a human legacy hanging in the balance. In this silence, the echoes of what could have been loomed large, leaving a haunting sense of loss reverberating through their lives. While despair's relentless tide enveloped their once vibrant lives, those who had eagerly embraced the new world soon found the promised safety disintegrating into ashes around them. The very disorder they had thought they were escaping morphed into a nightmarish reality, starkly revealing the delicateness of hope. The masterminds of this disheartening era reveled not only in their victory over ideals deemed weak, but also in the tragic erasure of a rich legacy, filled with principles and values they dismissed as antiquated burdens on the path to progress. With each dawning day, an unbearable weight pressed down upon their souls. The haunting whispers of lost loved ones filled the fragile stillness, reminding them of the faith they had cast aside. Unbeknownst to them, hope still flickered. The children were alive, hidden away while those in power sheltered their own. The last survivors, consumed by tribulation, believed they were the final remnants of humanity, convinced that the spark of life could never ignite again. By the year 2187, a chilling reality had emerged, casting a dark scourge over humanity's legacy. The last of the sterilized humans died, and the echoes of faith that once united people had been extinguished, leaving behind a fragmented society of twisted realities. In stark contrast to the world that perished, the true New World Order was born. Innocents were born in machine-run facilities, meticulously designed to cultivate obedience and conformity. These children became unwitting pawns in the hands of a new world, raised in an environment stripped of the moral compass that once guided mankind. As they matured into young adults, these individuals faced a relentless and systematic erosion of their identities. Gone were the days of self-discovery. Each person was subjected to rigorous assessments meant to expose their strengths and weaknesses, ultimately determining their roles in a tightly controlled society. They were dispatched to cities artfully crafted to reflect the values and needs of their murky architects, as if their very souls were commodities in a sadistic marketplace. These cities rose from the ashes of vibrant metropolises, their jagged skylines punctuating a horizon scarred by a forgotten era. Each city hosted a nearby facility for children, chilling monuments to the manipulation and control that pervaded their lives. Waves of young adults were funneled into these urban environments, emblematic of the grim realities they faced. Those with extraordinary talents were redirected to specialized cities designed to exploit their skills, their potential harnessed like batteries fueling a sinister machine. In this unsettling reality, the allure of happiness and a thriving society came with an extraordinary price, a disconnection from the heritage of their ancestors. Every decision imposed upon them became a double-edged sword, a trap cloaked as an opportunity, ensnaring them in a chilling belief that nothing lay beyond death. This haunting notion cast life in a bleak light, rendering it seemingly meaningless. Stripped of the chance to forge their destinies, they found themselves living under a rigid authority that dictated their every fate, leaving them to ponder a future that felt predetermined and void of purpose. Beyond the imposing walls of the inner city, the privileged elite thrived in grotesque opulence, blissfully enjoying the view of the stark desolation that plagued those outside their gilded gates, cocooned in their lavish sanctuary. They indulged in grand feasts overflowing with exquisite delicacies, sipped rare wines from crystal goblets, and adorned their halls with opulent decor, symbols of moral decay and excess. The boisterous laughter and music echoed through their grand halls. In spite of that, it rang hollow against the anguished cries reverberating from the suffering masses desperate for survival. The laws crafted by this elite class twisted the very instruments of justice into tools of oppression, further deepening the chasm between their luxurious lives and the relentless hardship faced by those beyond their walls. In this distorted order, compassion and faith became relics of an era long gone, dominated by a bleak landscape of subjugation and control. The masses, starved of hope, navigated a grim existence, their dreams suffocated by the cruelty of those who reveled in their own prosperity while turning a blind eye to the trials that surrounded them. Even in that darkened world, where secrets lingered and loneliness tried to cast its chill, a resilient spark of hope emerged, a radiant light just waiting to be discovered and embraced. This ethereal spirit appeared gracefully to those who were open to the Lord's guidance. It serenaded them with sweet truths of redemption, renewal, and profound healing through Christ, their Lord. Even in the toughest times, when hopelessness seemed overwhelming, the radiant love of God broke through the darkness, reaching for the hearts of those who earnestly sought comfort surrounded by life's mayhem. This divine love called for them to recognize their deep desire for truth, giving them ultimate strength and solace. In that sacred embrace, a powerful invitation resonated like a melodious hymn, patiently waiting for those courageous souls who were ready to embark on a transformative journey toward brighter horizons. Dive into a gripping tale that explores the depths of a world stripped of faith, and the courageous journey to restore morality and belief among its people. Mortality Devoid of Morality, Absconding Tyranny by Addie Michelle Rutler. Grab your copy today and embark on this captivating adventure. Available now in both hardcover and paperback at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Also available on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and Barnes & Noble ebooks. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.